All right, let me pray for us.
Go for it.
God, thank you for our friendship. I pray that give us peace, help us to just enjoy a really fun, fruitful conversation. Pray it would bless us and bless others and glorify your name. And just be in it and let us have some fun in your name. Amen.
Amen. I was going to have an intro for you, but that's a better intro. This is my guest.
Oh, we recorded the prayer. Good.
Yes,
no,
absolutely.
I'm glad they see how spiritual I am right away.
Good, and I want them to know that because you are one of my most spiritual friends. So that's why you're in my inner circle for that reason. Keep the faith strong.
Inner circle. Nice.
So this is my guest, Harrison.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you...
Usually Harry, but Harrison's cool if you want to be formal.
Oh, okay. Well, Harry's cool. We'll just keep it Harry.
You do you.
Okay.
Whatever
keep it
you
Harry.
prefer in your inner circle. I'll be Harry or Harrison,
right.
whatever you'd like.
Harry. Every time I think Harry or Harrison, I think about the moment I met you and your flight details.
Oh my God.
Yes.
That was a nightmare.
Yes.
I don't even know. Like, you already brought it up, so it's like you should
We'll go right into it. But real quick,
Yeah.
I met Harry on the GWP, Graceful Warrior Project, mission trip in January of 2023. Mm-hmm. And we were complete strangers. I was strangers with pretty much everyone on that trip, but I feel like I really bonded with... Oh, yeah, it was for you too, huh?
Yeah, except Kiana.
Right. Sister-in-law.
Correct.
Right. I feel like we really bonded on that trip, and so much happened, so much unraveling of my spirit, I feel like, and he was a big part of that in helping me do that. So he's a family pastor at the La Jolla Fellowship in La Jolla Christian Fellowship, right?
Yep.
In La Jolla, California, by San Diego. I appreciate you coming all the way out here just for me and not for anything else.
No, I wasn't in the area at all.
Yeah, so it's great to have you here.
Yeah,
and,
thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And before we jump in, I've been thinking about it. This is episode 6.
Yes.
And does your podcast have a name yet?
Nope.
Okay, so I brought some suggestions.
Yes, I love that. No way.
Oh yeah, no, I've been thinking about this.
Oh,
I've been
cool.
thinking about this.
All right, let's hear them.
All right, suggestion number 1: be there or be squire.
Oh, so
We'll let the people vote.
that could be a great voting, actually.
Suggestion
Squire. Okay.
number 2: close up with Cody. Number 3: getting squirely with Cody Squires.
All right, that one reminds me of childhood bullying, but go on.
Why did I spell it squirely? Let's just go getting squirrely with Cody Squires.
That's
that makes
cute.
more sense. Getting squirrely with Cody, because you get kind of
Squirrely guy. Yeah.
Cody's Confessions
Not bad.
and Code Red.
That one's super cool.
Yeah, you like
That one's super cool. If I didn't customly set all these lights, I could have turned them all red.
Yeah,
flashing
right.
red.
That could be part of like your intro. You could have an intro that's
Code
like,
red.
Code Red. Flashing red lights.
That's so lame, but so perfect.
I think my vote is be there or be squire.
What was the first one?
I think it was be there or be squire, right?
Yeah. What was it?
I read them kind of order.
Out of order.
I said close up with Cody.
That one's not bad.
You like close up with Cody?
But I like Confessions too, because that
Yeah.
translates because I really want this to be vulnerable.
Vulnerable
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, yeah. So that one's on the right track. Except none of them are on the right track because I hate my name.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I played only off your
Yes,
name.
I know. And
Do you hate your first and last name? Because I gave you options.
Yes, but
Do you have a middle name I could work with?
I have two.
You have 2 middle names.
My full name is Cody Jonathan David Squires.
Oh, right. We talked about the Jonathan David connection.
Oh, yeah, in the Bible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
I asked you and Josh that, I remember.
Right. Yeah. Best friends.
Yes. Oh, I was going to point to a picture of us, but that's in the other room.
It's okay.
Um,
It's in my heart.
I understand that not liking your first name says a lot about your confidence in yourself. So I'm perfectly aware of that. For the viewers, I'm like, oh, I know why. Well, I'll tell you why. It's because that's true. But also, I never really liked my name at all. And I already have Squires Productions, and I just want this to be separate of anything like Squires.
Okay.
But I know it's me,
Squires.
but it'll probably be the name with Cody Squires, which I'm okay with having as well.
So, okay. So no Cody, no or Squires.
Code Red's cool though.
Okay, so maybe Code Red's
Code.
on the maybe. Let's let the people vote.
Yeah, I'll pull those out, and
do
I'll do a poll. That'll actually be very interesting.
I like that. Or getting squirrely with Squires.
Nah, that's probably the bottom of the
nice
list.
Okay.
Can you come up with one on the spot that's not of my name?
Golly, that has nothing to do with your name, but the podcast is about. Yeah, you really give me a lot of parameters because the podcast is about
everything and nothing.
Right. Yeah. So it's super helpful. So no, Cody, I can't just. This takes time. That brilliance that I just read.
Yeah. Oh, you've been working on it. Yeah. Staring at the moon at night.
Oh yeah.
I got one.
I haven't slept.
Yeah.
I've been thinking of names.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll think of one though. I'll let you know if I can come up with another one.
So going back to
Africa.
As you check the time.
I don't know how to turn the ding off my Apple Watch.
You could let it ding. I'm not looking for perfection too much.
I am, but it's fine.
Ding.
So, okay, Africa.
So when I first saw you, I gotta say about my first impression.
Not a good first impression.
No, I didn't know what was going wrong, but I have to say, I liked the way you dressed. I was like, that guy's got style. And then we talked about Buck Mason quite a bit, you know.
Not a sponsor, but please, Buck Mason, if you're listening, please sponsor us.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, this guy's got style.
Let's go.
And then I learned you didn't know how to spell your name. And I was like, oh, okay.
It's not that I don't know how to spell a name. And I mean, I can make excuses because I know what went wrong. But I mean, we'll tell to explain to anyone listening. My passport says my name, which is Harrison, but I go by Harry. And the ticket said Harry, which didn't match my passport. And so they did not want to let me board an international flight. And it was just a nightmare, and I almost didn't get to go. And it was really rough. And I know how it happened, and I have some excuses, and I have some people to blame. None of them are me, because why would I do that to myself?
Right.
But I'll no reason to go into me whining.
Yes. I do remember.
But it was not a great first impression for any. I mean, Kelly, but you and Kelly were great. You and Kelly, no, you left me actually. Kelly was great. Kelly and Isaac stayed with me.
Oh yeah, not me.
As I tried.
I was so lost in my own world. I'm like, good luck, buddy.
You're in your own movie.
Yes.
But they stayed with me as we figured it out.
Yeah.
And thankfully it got figured out. So.
Yeah, I remember that morning. I was just like, I'm just gonna go with the bigger group, just follow the big crowd for the beginning until I got to know people, and then I'm alone in the Messiah Village with Kelly and a bunch of people. So
that was insane.
Yeah, that was
well. And the last thing I'll say about it is to have that trip, which going towards it, like at first I was really excited about it. Then when you have to, do it and like leave my wife behind who's pregnant and like go do the thing.
How many months pregnant?
Oh, gosh, at the time she was, I don't know. Maybe like 6.
Ooh, yeah, that's kind of close. Yeah,
I don't know, but to leave her and to just step out of my comfort zone with all these people I don't know, like all of a sudden I was like, I don't want to do this, like very clearly.
Sure.
And then to have it almost taken away,
that's weird. Like,
it really made me want to do it.
That's
because all of a sudden, like I was like, that drive to go left, and then to have it almost stripped from me. Yeah. The gratitude for sitting on when I got on the plane, the amount of gratitude that I was on the plane, totally reshaped like the way I was feeling about the trip, because I was like, oh my gosh, I made it. Like I'm on this thing,
Yeah.
And I've never done anything like that.
Right.
I mean, I've been on mission trips before, but not like that far. I got to Mexico and stuff, so it was rad.
The plane.
Yeah, what do you want to say about the
plane? Just the longest plane ride.
It was so long, and we're doing it again.
Yeah.
Remember playing
Battleship? I was just talking about it today. On the way back, it saved me. It saved my mental state the last couple hours. How long is the flight? 18 hours?
I don't know. There's 2, because there's 2 of them.
Right. Yeah.
So it breaks up into I think it breaks up into 22 hours.
Yeah.
Between 2 flights.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
I'm strategizing how I'm going into it next time.
I really want I would pay a difference if I could upgrade
to a more comfy seat.
Oh yeah.
Just take my money type thing.
Facts.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to have that opportunity, but
yeah,
I'd like the opportunity. If you and I could get one of those 2-seaters together.
Oh yeah. Just set up a little
comfy seat.
Board game between
us. Yeah, have some Battleship going.
Yeah, an actual Battleship.
It's so rad. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got to know you pretty well over those 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I feel like it was probably 2 weeks. And nothing but love for you after that trip. It was like,
same for you.
Felt like just the brother I never had.
Totally.
For me. One highlight from that trip, I mean, there's so many highlights, but there's, other than that prayer session that we had where you really stirred up the pot in me, there's little few ones that I still think about. And one of them is sitting on the bus, going over our music interest,
yeah,
and then doing the Enneagram.
yes,
And you like nailed my number.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. Like, dang, this guy knows me
Yeah.
pretty well, and just such a great trip.
Well, and to be fair, and it's something I love about you, it's not hard to know you well because you're a person who wears your heart on your sleeve. Like, you are Cody. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're very authentic. You're very who you are. I think you, in a good way, take ownership and pride in being authentic. You know what I mean? And it's not that you're not careful about who you let into your space, because you are. But if you have the opportunity to get to know you, you're a very easy person to get to know, because you're not someone who hides anything. You're aware. I mean, hence 3 cameras.
Yeah,
Clearly,
that's
right?
a good point.
You know what I mean? So it's like you're a really easy person to get to know because you wear it, where other people, it's like you have to sift and dig. So yeah, I didn't have to do a lot of hard work. But,
That's not.
and I relate to you a lot.
Yeah, that's never been intentional of me to wear my heart on my sleeve. I just.
No, it's who you are.
Oh,
sorry.
no, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's true. It's just I don't think about that sometimes. I've been told that quite a bit.
Yeah, I think it's something you do naturally, and I think it's a beautiful thing.
If I'm upset, I can't hide it.
Yeah.
I just can't. It's hard.
But it's not just upsetness. It's passion. It's creativity. It's
There's the positive.
joy.
Yeah.
Stop
Yeah.
digging yourself. There's so many you know what I mean? It's a heart on your sleeve. That's there's so many beautiful things in that. Yeah. That aren't all negative.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I
It's
got
nice
you.
to hear.
Yeah. Well.
So after the trip, because you said you had so much anxiety coming up to it, you don't want to leave, all this and that. Like, how did it feel coming back home?
And I'll answer that best I can. Do people know? Like, have you talked about Graceful Warrior on here?
I have not. This is like the opportunity to do so. So if you actually want to pause that and
I'll just give a
you should do
preface
that.
to like
You should, yeah.
what we did. We both had the opportunity to go partner with Graceful Warrior Project, amazing organization, and shout out Kelly and Kristen and so many great people. And basically what they do is they all over the world, but we went to Tanzania, Africa, and they build these safe houses, and they partner with local people, and they set up like what they call 4 pillars of self-defense, right? They talk about spiritual self-defense, economic self-defense, physical self-defense. Is it mental, emotional? I think mental, emotional.
Spiritual, educational.
Oh, educational is what I missed.
Financial.
Right.
Which is like stability.
Yeah, like economic.
Economic, and then.
Yeah, everything I said.
Yeah.
Educational.
Oh,
yeah,
and physical.
Right,
yeah.
and physical.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so, I mean, what I love, what's really amazing about it, they had at the time 17 girls at this safe house who had all been rescued from some sort of abuse, who were living there with Nema and Arasto, who act as the mother and father of the house, and these girls just like are a family, and it's so beautiful, and they get to go to school, and they get to worship together, they learn about Jesus, they get to do life together in a safe and family environment, which they didn't have before, and it's such an amazing thing. And then what's so cool is GWP empowers these people, like their leaders, Nema and Arasto, to do things that aren't reliant on an organization. So like start their own businesses and stuff like that, become self-sustainable, have their own wells and their own cattle, and so that, which is what made me believe in the organization so much, so that these people would not be, if GWP disappeared tomorrow, they're not fully reliant on a missions organization, right? And that empowers those people. So we got to go be a part of that. I was on the self-defense side of it. I've done martial arts my whole life, and got to partner with Kelly and Isaac on that trip and help lead some of the self-defense stuff. And you were on the really important creative side of capturing the trip, you know, through video and through pictures. And anyway, so Yeah, that's what we were doing.
Right, for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to do it again. So I guess that sums it up best we can. And then to answer your question, how I felt going back, like, I don't know how I felt getting back. I think was surreal, you know. It's just weird to be home. Your you're just kind of, your priorities shift a little bit. What's important shifts, values shift. And the hard part is they shift for a little while. And the painful reality is pretty quickly we go back to doing what we do.
That's exactly what I want to talk about too.
Yeah, right.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's a bummer. You know, how we get so used to what we do. And so, you know, we can get right back in, you know, have this whole reality shift. And it's beautiful for 2 weeks. And then we're back to worrying about the same junk we were worrying about.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It almost sounds selfish that that's a big reason why I want to go back too. I'm just be transparent. That's a big part of coming back. I need that real reality check. I feel like this isn't, I don't know, just I need that, just that spiritual awakening again.
Well, I think it's good to, it's like twofold. It's good to go away and do something like that, and you don't have to feel guilty about that being selfish and kind of needing that. I think that's an okay thing to do. I think of all the times Jesus like dipped out on everybody and went up a mountain by himself and just like had to get away. And was it selfish? Like, to some extent, yeah, he wanted to go be with his Father and wanted to go pray and wanted to go so he could continue doing what he was doing, right?
Recharge.
So it's okay to like leave and do something that reorients you,
right?
You know what I mean? But then how do you continue to live? How do you bring some of that home into your everyday life, which is, you know, that's part of the challenge. And I'm not saying I'm good at it, but
that's one of my goals, is to come back and let a few more things stick.
Yeah.
This time around when I come back.
Right.
It was, for me, I had a lot of anxiety before the trip too. I was in a darker place before the trip too. Not super dark, but just not okay. It was a rough kind of holiday season. And I remember the night before going for a walk at like midnight or 1 a.m, just around the block. So full moon, had the paper kites playing and some Corey Asbury as well and some other stuff. Just, I couldn't sleep. I was like, I'm leaving on a plane tomorrow morning and I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. And it's just a lot. Right. And just so much. And I remember the moment I got there, everything fell away. And it was just like, let's do work, but in a good way. Yeah. And I feel like I just I felt like I had the camera on me 24/7. I don't think I ever really had a moment where it wasn't on me and I wasn't filming. I fell in love. I fell in love again with what I do through that. And that's why when I say it feels kind of selfish going back and wanting something for myself out of it, it's also because I know when I go, I'm doing work for GWP. I'm doing work. I know I'm going to do the work. Yeah. I know that's all going to happen. I know I'm going to do twice as good as what I did last time. Yeah. Not to set a too high of a unrealistic expectation of a better video or better pictures. It could
be twice as good. It was so good. Unless you get more photos of me, it's the only way it could be better.
There will be, because I remember, right in the beginning, I didn't know you too well, and I try to make it fair, but now,
it's the only way it could get better.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kidding. Kind of.
But when I came back, I remember experiencing depression. That's what Sherry mentioned would happen. Kristen mentioned that would happen, and I was like, I didn't believe him. Yeah, I really just didn't believe him. Like, I'll be okay. I'll be fine. Yeah. And the jet lag messed me up. Yeah, I already have problems with sleep as it is, from lucid dreaming and oversleeping and all that kind of stuff. And then when jet lag was added to the mix, plus sort of like deadline to get content out from the trip, it just was. I remember those first 2 weeks were a blur. It felt like one day. The first 2 weeks felt like one long day. I would wake up at 4 a.m. and go to sleep at 5 p.m. Like, it was just, jet lag really messed me up. Which I'm also gonna take. I think there's like a no lag medication. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that.
Doing things better this time around.
Prep up.
But
say lucid dreaming. That's when you can like control, like you're aware that you're dreaming in the dream. Yeah. So can you fly in your dream? Can you be like, you can. Yeah. And you make yourself fly. Yeah. This is kind of rad, right?
Yeah.
I don't have the superpowers.
This is it is a hot topic for me and mainly my past relationships and current relationship. Okay. Because I've shared a bed with partners, and they've witnessed me sleeping, and I'm a talker in my sleep. I feel like Josh must have experienced a little bit in the tent over there in GVP, but I'm a talker.
Yeah.
And my dreams have always been extreme. It's either extremely bad or extremely good, where I wake up sad because it was so good, and what I have right now can't compare.
Is it good because you can control it? So you're like,
I'd rather just wake up. Something's going wrong. I'm like, okay, I'm out of the dream, and that happens. It's not lucid dreaming every night, but I would say I get it 2 to 3 times a week, where I will have a dream, wake up in the middle of the night, go back to sleep, continue that dream, wake up again, and I will have 3 back to back. The dream continues. It does not end. I go right back into it.
Across multiple nights?
No, just one night.
Oh, one night. Okay.
I've had dreams where I can vividly link them to a dream I had when I was 20. It's the same scenario. It's the same thing.
It's wild.
My imagination has always just been crazy.
Yeah.
The real crazy ones that I do, well, spoiler alert, but since you have cracked open Pandora's box on that one, I do have a plan to do a lucid dream journal read, because I journal my dreams. I call it my dream catcher journal. So if I'm awake enough where I can log it, I log my crazy wild dreams.
Yeah.
So I have like a
whole thing.
quite a bit of them, and I want to like have a certain episode where it's just like I open that book up and I kind of read these dreams.
You write down, I think more than anyone I know, like you record your life.
Yeah.
More than anyone I've ever met.
I'm all about the data.
Yeah,
and the numbers.
you love some data.
Ooh, I love data, man.
Freaking
I love
nerd.
being like, oh, I don't do this enough. All right, let's tweak this.
Golly.
I'm all about the numbers. And all that. Yeah, I really get down with that.
Nice.
But the lucid dreaming, like I said, it can be bad where I can't. It's what do they call that? Sleep paralysis. I get a little bit of that where you can't wake up and you're like trying to in the dream, but you can't.
I hate that.
But it's like I said, I know sometimes it'll kick in, and it's always like this, like you go down a little kid slide. It's like, ooh, I'm in the dream, and now I'm lucid dreaming. Like it's like this feeling of like, okay, I'm in my dream, and that doesn't last long. I should say, once I'm in the lucid dreaming state, it doesn't last long.
Because you wake up, or
I wake up pretty soon, but it's there's still like a good 20% of that dream. Sometimes dreams feel like weeks go by, but I'm sure that's normal for some people. They have dreams that feel like you're in there for a while.
Sure.
But the craziest lucid dreams that are the best dreams, they're not bad or good. It's like this line is, I have dreams about experiences I've had in the past where I'm reliving a memory that I am now in full control of, aware that I'm back in time. As movie as that sounds, or like I've had a few of those, and I wake up almost every time in tears. I wake up literally just like, oh, my face is wet because I'm so impacted by like the fact that like I'm back in time, but my mind's made up this whole reality that I'm there. Which I bet if there's some therapists watching, like, oh, lucid dream is usually a key sign of childhood trauma.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's up there on that list.
Know that.
Yeah, that's one of them. Lucid dreaming and like nightmares and night terrors and stuff.
Wow.
So like I said, I've had exes that are telling me like, you're wild when you're sleeping.
Yeah.
I have one funny story. I'll make it very short.
Yeah.
One of my exes said, there was one night you were sleeping and you gave step-by-step instructions on how to defeat Darth Vader.
I wish you recorded it. I wish you, and was it accurate? Because he was
She
defeated.
wasn't okay.
Just so you know.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know. Have you seen the movie?
Yeah, I've seen
It's
them
been out for a
way
while.
too many times.
He was
Unfortunately,
defeated.
she wasn't a Star Wars fan, so she didn't understand it. She didn't know.
She didn't know what you were saying.
But she knew that I was like explaining, oh, you gotta do this, and you gotta use the lightsaber. I'm explaining it.
You gotta introduce his son, his long lost son.
Yeah.
You gotta slowly turn him to the
Exactly.
light.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I've had some wild ones. My current girlfriend.
I'm really upset that wasn't. I would love to know if the step-by-steps match the
movie.
The movie.
Yeah.
Or if you have your own idea
That
about
could
how
work.
to defeat Darth Vader.
No, I wish.
And you could start like a rival comic book.
The bit of research I've done on lucid dreaming and dreaming, it's like one thing pops up a lot. You'll find the answers to your problems in your dreams. Especially if you're going through stuff, if you're anxious about something, you dream about it.
Right.
Oh, I have a deadline on something I'm late to, or I'm letting a certain friend down too much, and you're dreaming about that friend. Like, I find a lot of my answers in the dreams, and unfortunately, I don't want those answers sometimes. Right. It's like, yeah, I know, but then I'm only hurting myself because I'm going to dream about it again tonight. I already know I'm going to.
Dang.
So, there's a lot of answers in my dreams. I just need to follow them sometimes. So just stuff I'm anxious about, stuff that's bothering me.
Yeah.
And it's almost always right too. And that's why I believe dreaming is like, I don't know, I'm no scientist or anything, but it's clearly just like, it's just created by us. It's our mind, it's our subconscious, it's just everything we know. Like, I don't know, it's a lot to unpack there, but
yeah. And I think, I mean, I don't know,
I'm no expert. It'd be cool to have like a dream expert on here though, like a scientist someday.
Yeah, like some sort of psychologist who could tell us. Cool. I did my undergrad in psych.
That's right.
We didn't talk about dreams that much. We talked.
Was that a topic though?
It was, yeah. We talked about it a little bit. I think definitely when we went over Freud, because Freud was one of the first to really talk about the unconscious mind. So we talked a little bit about it then, and then maybe when we talked about personality psych, but talked about it pretty sparingly. And because, at least from what I remember, there's a limitation on how much is research and understanding there is, but there's definitely a whole school and field that like is very interested in that, and that does believe that it's like kind of like you're saying, there's some deep unconscious stuff that if you pay attention to the details of your dreams, it'll
show you the way.
Yeah, there's some answers at least about like what you're afraid of or what you're dealing with. Sometimes maybe you find answers to that. Maybe it's just reoccurring things. My dreams are dumb. There's no...
Like, give me an example. Give me a dumb dream in the mind of Harry.
And I forget most of them, too. But, like, they're never... Most of the time, they're pretty happy. I had very anxious dreams last night, so not good examples. But most of the time, they're just, like... They're so mundane. Yeah. Like, they're just something, like, in the day that happened. Like, it's not deep. It's not exciting. It's just dumb.
Man, I hear that a lot, that people are like, my dreams are just boring dreams or whatever, and it kind of does give me a little bit of gratitude. It's like, okay, well, at least I get to watch a movie every night.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's going to be bad or good. I'm going through some sort of movie, but your dreams are like you park in your driveway in your parking spot, but when you get out of the car, you're in your living room, and it's just like you pick up the baby, but it's a cat, and then it's just like, it's just
Facts,
doesn't make any sense.
It's just, it literally is.
You turn around and you're at the church or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And then randomly they're like really intense, really rarely.
Yeah.
They're like super, I had super intense dreams last night.
Yeah.
But besides that, most of the time they're stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Speaking of baby. Yeah. How's that going?
So rad. Yeah, he is. He's 6 months old. His name's Jude. And he's the best. I freaking love him. It's such a cool, crazy, awesome process. Both, for a while I was like, it's both the hardest and most beautiful thing I've done. And that was especially for his first 2 months of life. But then 3 months and on, it's still hard, but it's not that, it's less hard because he's just so enjoyable. 3 months, his personality, more and more, I'm seeing more of who he is and his personality. And he's so playful and fun, and he's the best. I'll just say two things. One, the hard thing is I've never had more fear in my life. And for him and for myself, in the sense of I've never been super scared to death. But since having a kid, I have a lot of anxiety. And it's actually one thing that, going back to Africa, makes me nervous. Because I'm I can't die.
Right.
I really don't want to die.
Right.
And it's not like I was nihilistic before where I'm I don't care if I die. But I didn't really, I never had a super strong fear of death. Maybe that's just being young,
Right.
But now I'm afraid to die because I want to be there for him, And so, and then of course you get afraid, you have all the first time parenting stuff where you're just is he breathing? Is he okay? How's he? What's going on?
Yeah.
And he got super sick.
Yeah.
Last Sunday, we had to take him to the ER.
Oh,
horrible!
For the first time going to an ER.
Oh yeah, worst experience. One of the worst experiences of my life because he's just high fever, couldn't breathe. Everything they're doing to him makes him scream bloody murder. And you, as the parent, are in charge of holding his legs down while they do stuff to help him, but it's torturing him. Yeah. You know what I mean? Taking IVs and a catheter, and they did a bunch of stuff to him. And he's like way better now, thank God. But I mean, it was so emotionally draining and hard. So it's like that kind of stuff that's just like your world. You see the world a little differently when you have a kid. But
that was last Sunday or yesterday.
Last Sunday.
Well, it wouldn't be yesterday. I don't think you'd be here if that was
No, I
yesterday.
wouldn't be here.
Sure.
Yeah. So that was a week ago.
Yeah.
And it took us like 3 days to recover from it. But he's doing so much better and
That's
healthy
good.
and good. Yeah. So yeah, it's been great. I love him. He's rad. Yeah. The only thing I don't like is, I'm gonna vent for a second.
Go ahead.
It's people who meet. Can I move it towards me?
Oh,
You
yes.
like that, Chris?
Much better.
When people meet the baby,
Uh-huh.
you know what I mean, or see the baby for the first time, you bring them around. And I won't remember if anyone's done this to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like keep track of who, except some people in my family who do it. When they meet him, you know what I mean, and then they're like smiling at oh little baby,
Yeah.
and he just like isn't really responding because he's just like stranger,
It's like staring up at him.
Yeah, and they go, oh, he's so serious. I hate that. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You don't know him.
You
don't
don't
make that judgment. Maybe he's just not responding to your
Yeah.
ugly mug. You know what I mean? Just because you're smiling at him doesn't mean he wants to smile at you.
Yeah.
He's not a serious. He's so goofy and fun. But dude, it's a weird thing where I've had probably 10 times where people meet him for the first time and they're like, oh, baby. And it's great. They're excited. But then if he doesn't respond by smiling at them, they make a judgment on who he is. Right? They're like, oh, he's very serious.
Then I would
he's a business baby. That's what he is. He's very serious.
He's closing deals just an hour ago.
Sorry, he's busy.
Yeah.
It's like, no, dude, he's
You not see his Bluetooth in his ear? He's making business deals.
Yeah, he's a baby. Like
Yeah.
he's not actually. He's super playful and goofy and fun. But like you might not see it the first time you meet him.
Hey, all I can say is their loss.
Well, and it's really sweet people.
Sure.
Like I'm
sure
like,
they're not. Yeah, no, yeah. But
it's just fun to vent about things,
yeah.
And I don't even remember. Besides, like my brother's done it, my mom's done it, and I love them both so much.
Yeah.
But then like 100 other strangers have done it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it's just like a thing people say for some reason. So I'm putting it out. Stop saying it.
Stop saying it.
You don't know my baby.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But anyway, it's been great. I wouldn't trade being a dad for anything.
I loved the pictures you posted. I think it was Super Bowl day or around that time. It was like a selfie where he's on your little. I think you guys both have that little like boss baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I loved sitting and watching football with him.
Yeah.
Except when it's like the fourth quarter and there's like 30 seconds left in the game and it's like an intense.
Right.
And are we gonna win? And he's fussing. I'm like, honey, take the baby. I'm trying to watch the game.
Yeah.
I'm like, shut up, Jude.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the time it's great. And the other great thing that's been about it, being married, is it just makes you closer to your spouse. Well, I think if you have a healthy marriage,
Right.
I'm not trying to brag about how healthy my marriage is, but I do think having kids, if you have a strong marriage, having kids will make a strong marriage stronger. If you have a weak marriage, having kids will make a weak marriage weaker.
I've heard something along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've said it before and you listen to me.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But I do think that's true because I think I think it's made our marriage. It's definitely made our marriage stronger. Like our affection for one another is increased. But if you are not in a place to have kids, you should not have kids.
Yeah.
Like if you have a weak marriage, just enjoy your marriage. Like focus on that. But anyway, I'm not trying to give advice. It's just what my experience has been so positive. And we waited for how long have we been married? It's coming up on 7 years.
Yeah.
So we didn't have kids right away.
Right.
Which helped us. We
Right.
got to focus on our marriage first for like a while.
Right. I do remember having dinner, the double date we did at that Italian restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Super good.
Yeah.
And it was a conversation of you seeing your wife in pain, like during labor. Mm-hmm. I had never looked at like parenting in that light before. The way you were just so elaborate and deep about like how it just made you love her so much harder. You know, on a level that you can't really quantify maybe with words, but I thought it was really fascinating.
Totally.
To hear you talk about her in that way, it's like, whoa. Like, you mentioned something about, like, when a woman gives birth, they're giving their life force away.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Well, it's like, it's the most It's like the most sacrificial and even Christ-like thing. One of the most sacrificial Christ-like things we can do as human beings, right? Is for a woman to give birth, because it's a sacrifice of their entire body.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So that someone else can have life.
Right.
Right. It's like, let me sacrifice my body so you can live, which is a very, Christ-like theme. And it's so brutal and painful and beautiful. And then when you suffer together, when you suffer in community, that I think breeds closeness. And so watching my wife suffer, and I'm obviously not suffering alongside her in the same way, but her suffering definitely led to me feeling suffering, right?
Right.
So much so the doula we had to like pull me aside because I was kind of a wreck. Yeah. She was like, "You need to get your act together." And I'm like, "I'm sorry.
Get back in the game."
Yeah. I was like, "I'll be there." But yeah, and so you just want. When she's suffering like that, you want nothing but that to end. And then when it produces this beautiful life, it's like there's so much gratitude. And my view of her, I was like, she's like a superhero. I'm like, that's insane.
Right.
What you just did. It's ridiculous.
It's really cool.
Freaking men are stupid. What do we do? Drink yerba mate and talk on a podcast. Women are out there pushing out babies.
Yeah. And she's with the baby right now?
Yeah, she's with the baby while I do this.
Yes.
What an idiot, bro.
Oh, man.
So rad.
That's crazy when you say it's like you want it to end, but in the process of giving birth, it's like it has to happen. Mm-hmm. Jeez.
Yeah.
I'll get there someday.
Yeah, you'll do it. You'll be Daddy Cody.
Someday.
And then you could be dad bod on a pod.
All right, that works. Hopefully I don't ever have to get Did you get a dad bod?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I'll let the viewers be the judge.
Yeah.
But I don't, no. I will say I've put on like 10 pounds. I don't know where, but I think it's just a result of I'm 29.
Yeah.
Rushing towards 30. And it was like 27, 28. All of a sudden it was like 10 pounds.
Yeah.
And I have no idea because I don't feel like I look any different.
Yeah.
But it's just like I gain weight. But no, I don't think I have a dad bod. I'm redefining dad bod, Cody.
That's great.
Now dad bod is 6-pack abs, which I totally have.
Perfect. Can you talk about your daddy jiu-jitsu? I think that's such a great idea. I remember when you brought it out when it wasn't a thing yet and you were talking about it. I'm like, he's on to something.
Would love to talk about that. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things. Yeah, we started a dad's jiu-jitsu club. I've done jiu-jitsu since I was, I don't know, 12 or whatever. And
so how long have you done jiu-jitsu then?
I have a hard time like keeping like when.
It's like 15, 16 years.
Yeah, like I might have been. Yeah.
It's a long, at least 15 years.
Probably 15 years. Something like that.
Yeah.
Anywhere 12 to 15 years. And love jiu-jitsu, And, I talk to, I work in a church. I talk to people all the time. They know I do jiu-jitsu. I used to fight MMA, multiple MMA fights, Muay Thai fight. And now I just do jiu-jitsu because I don't want to get punched in the head anymore. But I talk to so many men, and especially like older dads in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, who are like, man, I wish I did that. Mm-hmm. But there's always a barrier for like a dad who's maybe their body's not the same as it was. They have kids, so they're super busy. There's a intimidation factor to it because it's like no male wants to like go into a brand new gym environment and get their butt kicked by a 19-year-old, which is very possible, if you go into any jiu-jitsu gym. So it's just like there's lots of barriers for entry. And so I had the idea of like, what if I did a club just for dads where only dads could join, and it would just be basic fundamentals jiu-jitsu, and it would get rid of some of the barriers. Finances are a big barrier too. I don't charge that much. I don't make any money off of it. We charge $70 for, it's like $10 a session essentially.
Yeah.
And that pays for some of the materials, but I don't make any money from it. But so it gets rid of the financial barriers, gets rid of some of the intimidation factor because it's just dads. Most of them are brand new, and everyone's kind of going at the same pace. So started that at our church. It was also just an excuse to get work jiu-jitsu into my job. as a family pastor. You know what I mean?
So cool.
It's like just try to do
it
stuff
worked.
you like, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
as
yeah.
the family pastor, I was like, well, I like this, and a lot of people talk to me about wishing they could do it. So I was like, well,
Yeah.
I can provide that, and we bring a spiritual element to it. We memorize some scripture and we say it together, and kind of before, and then we roll. Get to training, and it's been really fun. We probably have like 16 guys total who are in it right now, and I designed these Star Wars rash guards,
Yes,
which are
so
cool. I love them. We just ordered a new set of some long sleeve ones, but they're Darth Vader's on the back, and it says "Who's your daddy?"
Love that.
It's so great.
So creative.
One of my favorite things that I've gotten to do for sure.
Yeah.
But I've had at least 2 of the guys since have gone and joined jiu-jitsu gyms.
Oh, it's awesome.
Because they fell in love with it in Dad's Jiu-Jitsu.
Right.
So
And that was like your whole goal, is to get people back into jiu-jitsu. So
yeah. And just provide I don't know, like I think men should feel, it provides such a confidence to feel like you can defend yourself and defend your family, even if it's just a little bit, you know what I mean? So to know more than nothing, I think for a man who has a wife and kids, it's like that matters a little bit,
to know more than nothing is almost enough.
It helps.
Yeah.
It helps to have some idea. You don't have to be a black belt, but if you get some idea, more than nothing, helps with your confidence, and maybe it'll help in real life. So it's a step.
What did it feel like teaching the girls in Africa?
That's a great question.
Would you say that was like your main mission on that trip, was to instill any skills or knowledge into?
Yeah, I went in not totally knowing exactly how it was all going to go down, but I knew that was my role on the self-defense team, and so it was such an honor to get to work with them, and I think it's a totally different thing, because all these girls have been in some sort of, like, this is really, really real. You know what I mean? Like, teaching dads here, it's like the slight chance something happens, right? There, it's like the chances are a lot higher, like the stakes are a lot higher.
Yeah.
Kelly talked about that recently. Actually, I was just chatting with her, and so it kind of shifts, and also there's a different type of gratitude that they let you share the mat with them. You know what I mean? Because like many of them been through physical trauma. You know what I mean? So to share a mat with these girls is a different thing. You know what I mean? Than like if you or I were to just share a mat, or maybe whoever.
Right.
So, yeah. So but it was an honor, and I'm looking forward to getting to do that again, and
because we're going back in June.
Because we're going back.
I'm excited about that.
I'm excited too. I'm excited to go back as friends.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like we
Yes.
went in and we developed a friendship. I can't wait to bicker with you. Just more on
That's
the
gonna be
bus,
fun.
just give you a hard time.
I feel like nothing really went wrong in the last trip by any means. Nothing.
No.
And like there wasn't anything where it's like, oh, I need you for this or whatever. And I knew I could rely on you then. But now it's kind of like there's more of a bond, which is like, I can almost maybe just give you a look. Now it's kind of like, hey, he needs me for something.
We know.
And that only benefits them.
I was so afraid. It's been going wrong. Nothing went wrong. But I was so afraid of the dogs there. They have the little safe house dogs that running around at night.
Yeah, there was a few of them.
I was so scared of them because I don't know anything, and I didn't get the rabies shot. Like there, when you go and you decide what shots you're gonna get, because the rabies shot was super expensive.
Right. It's like Starbucks adding a shot of espresso. It's like, I get this, I get a little of that. It's like
and you
cocktail.
have to come back, and you have to do it in two doses.
Yeah, 2 doses.
And it's a live vaccine.
Right.
So it might affect you. And I was just like, and I asked Kelly, I was like, do I need a rabies shot? She was like, no.
Right.
I was like, great. I was so scared of those dogs. And then there was bats sometimes flying around at night.
Oh, yeah. And it's not like bats here. I feel like those bats are like...
And then, speaking of nothing going wrong, then we had the chimp or the baboon jump into our safari vehicle.
Okay, I'll just say we can elaborate on it a bit, but let's just elaborate on now. The tour guide didn't close the top canopy when we got back to the station from the safari. All-day safari. We're all sunburnt. We're all exhausted. It's been a long day of just safari in this crater. Beautiful, natural crater. We get back, and the other tram next to us, whatever you call it, they closed their top. I remember it was closed.
No, all of them were. There are multiple cars. They're all closed.
And
ours wasn't.
What was the name? God listens.
God listens. Yeah.
God listens was his name. We did a rap.
We did do a
throw
rap.
that in.
Dude, I wonder if I have it.
I have it.
Oh, you have the rap?
I have it. Yeah, I don't have it on me, but you might have it on you.
I don't know. I think I wrote it on my phone.
Oh, I'm not rapping for it.
Oh, you're gonna rap right
oh my
now.
Gosh,
this has become a rapping podcast.
And he was the coolest tour guide. So cool that we like made a rap song about him.
Yeah.
And but when we got back to the station, he didn't close the top canopy. So we pull into the station. I see baboons everywhere, and me as a photographer, I hop out. I hopped out of the tram, and I went around. I got really close to them. I took a bunch of cool pictures.
I don't have it.
I'll pull it up later. And I'm away from the bus, this little safari truck.
You weren't in the vehicle.
I wasn't in the vehicle.
Oh my gosh.
And I turn around, and I see the vehicle, and I see this baboon just, the moment I look at the vehicle, just fall down, like just jump down in between Kiana and Kelly, or Kiana and Kristen.
No, Kiana and Josh.
Kiana and Josh. Yes. This massive baboon that's like huge. I mean, they're pretty big. And in my knowledge of baboons from podcasts and Joe Rogan and stuff and the videos, they'll rip your scalp off.
Yeah,
they will literally just grab and they'll rip. They're like aggressive for food or anything. I don't know about Africa, but in other countries they're bad. So it jumps down in, and all I hear is screaming.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, my new friends are dead.
Yep.
They're done.
Yep.
They're gone. They're screaming. The things. Everyone's running. You're out.
Insane. Oh, I was out. So I saw it like in the tree. And I was like, that thing's gonna jump. Like I just felt it.
Yeah.
And I was watching it with my
Jurassic Park.
Dude, I knew. I had my hand on the handle.
The door handle to get out. I'm out. I'm out.
And as soon as I saw it leave the tree, and I was like, Poop.
I'm
was
out. Yeah, you're the first
bro.
one out. Yeah.
Oh, first one out.
Yeah.
And I ain't doing jiu-jitsu with a baboon. No, you know what I'm saying? No, thank you. No. So I was out of there, and my poor sister-in-law was in the very back of the thing.
With the cookies next to her.
With the cookies next to her. So you sat right next to her.
Right in between them.
And so...
Shoulder to shoulder, touching.
Yeah.
Just she could feel the fur on him. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, on her, yeah.
Yeah, and she also did not get the
rabies?
The rabies.
Oh,
So we were talking about that. But, yeah, that was insane. And I actually caught a lot of it.
Yes, you were recording.
I didn't even know I was recording on my phone.
Crazy.
Yeah, so I caught...
Can I add that to the podcast? Just throw it in right here. I'll pause it and I'll play a little video. I'll come right back to this. Yeah.
Do it.
That'd be funny.
Let's close the top.
We know how to close it. I gotta do what I Oh my god.
Them screaming. And I didn't know I was recording, so my phone's just on the seat because I think I took a picture of the baboon.
Right.
And then I must have accidentally started a video.
Because the video is just black. There's like the seat.
It's just black. You see kind of Kelly run by and Kiana run by
and
screaming.
Yeah.
And you know what happened, but
yeah.
Yeah, so nothing went wrong.
Yeah, I made a mental note of danger going back to when you said now that you feel like, well, you know that you can't die. You can't get sick. You can't. And I remember when we arrived at the Kilimanjaro airport, when we were walking on the tarmac and all the signs.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's coming. Listen, I'm about to take like
that's a good point.
9 people to
that's
Africa,
a good point. And
so
we're
let's
fine.
Not scare people out of it.
Yeah,
but no, there were terrifying signs. We can tell them.
Sure.
There's terrifying signs, but it wasn't for our area.
Oh, okay. Congo.
Yeah, it was for people who going to Congo.
Right.
And there's some terrifying signs about death.
Yeah.
But our area is Congo is terrifying.
I think
we were actually supposed to go to Congo.
Right.
And I was signed up to go. Were you going to go?
I was signed up
Yeah,
too,
we were both going to go to Congo.
I think everyone pretty much was.
No.
Oh.
There's a group of people who were not going.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Congo
I see.
Because it's dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
But my feeling was like, I'm on the trip at the time. I don't feel that at all anymore. I'm like, I'm never going to Congo.
Yeah.
I'm not. Kelly's incredible. Think about all the places she's lived and been and done and risked her life for the gospel and to help people. It's incredible.
Kelly, the founder, has lived in Africa.
Yeah, I think she lived in Congo.
In Congo for a month or something, or 2, or even longer.
I think longer.
Should have fact checked that, but she's out there.
Yeah, she's incredible. I'm good.
Yeah. So you
I got
signed
a wife
up for
and baby.
yeah.
And I'm gonna. I'm good.
You signed up for the Congo, but you didn't sign up for the Maasai village, and you left me hanging. And you were like, "Good luck, brother." Yeah. You went back on the tour bus, and our stories separated for a night. So I stayed at
I wish
you can go back and do it differently.
I stayed.
Yeah.
Well, it was a terrible experience not staying.
Right. I'll quickly go to mine and we'll
Sure.
do yours. So mine was, there's a Maasai village. For those that don't know, Maasai people live, they're all around Africa. I'm assuming mainly Eastern Africa. I'm not sure either. But they live in these like remote villages with barely electricity at the most. I think I saw one wire.
Yeah.
But the drive to that village, that one in particular, was 3 hours.
It's insane, yeah.
3 hours where there was no road.
Fully off-road.
Fascinated me
like
that the guy knew.
20-passenger bus.
He had no GPS. I saw he had nothing. He just kind of knew.
And the dust clouds.
Oh,
You couldn't see.
couldn't even see.
And then they get out and just start chopping stuff with a machete.
Yeah, one guy gets out with and he starts chopping the road, and you keep going, and it's just, there's no road. You're just driving all the way for like 3 hours to this village of hundreds of people.
Yeah.
That have lived a life so just disconnected from what we have.
Right.
Even the people there in Tanzania, I feel like disconnected even from the city people there. They're
Right,
just out there. And we got to the point where the sun was going down, and the original plan was everyone was going to stay, set up. We brought the tents.
Oh, yeah, that was the original
We
plan.
had big tents that held 5 people each that we ended up sleeping in separate tents throughout the whole trip outside the safe house. Which,
Gosh, we were going to tent camp.
yeah, tent camp out there. But it was so dusty, it was very windy, and the ground was very rock hard.
Yeah, you
so the
couldn't set
tent
'em up.
staked, yeah. I was convinced. I was trying to convince everyone, like, come on. But it came down to the decision of just Kelly and I were to stay at the Maasai village.
Right.
And you guys would drive 3 hours back away from us, and we were just kind of out there. We had Sandy,
Yeah.
who was kind of our, guide for between Kelly and I. She speak the language, translate, and all that. But
Right.
I remember Isaac and a couple people were very concerned and were like, "Hey, we don't know these people. Maybe you should just come back with the group." And me and my adventure heart. That's actually where this picture is from.
Well, yeah.
It's right outside the Maasai village, the little room I slept in. That experience, the second the bus drove away and I couldn't see the bus anymore, that's when it was like, oh, I might have made a mistake. I can't, there's no phone signal. I can't, you see me running behind the bus. Wait, I made a mistake. But there was no going back. And it was one of the coolest decisions I ever made in my life, because that night,
You and Kelly are built different. That was insane.
I got to witness Kelly meeting with the village tribe men leaders, and they run the village,
Right.
And it was like 11 at night. You could see the Milky Way and the stars, and they're in this like hut with no ceiling, and they're all just sitting in a circle talking, and it's just like I'm watching this. Like, I feel like I don't know much about the Bible, but this kind of stuff you'd see in the Bible where they would sit and talk, and I'm videoing it and getting pictures, and it's just silent. It's peaceful. And at night, you think you hear crickets and these like cricket sounds, but it ends up being mice. There's so many mice. It's a symphony of these like.
Oh, wow.
But it sounds beautiful. And there was one moment before I went to bed, I kind of just walked out. All the village people already gone to sleep, and I was just kind of out there staring. It's just like a moment of gratitude and like, where am I right now? Just really thought deep about like, how did I get all the way here? I should be home in bed with
By
my
being
cat.
stupid.
Yeah, by being stupid.
And staying.
Yeah. So I slept, and at night it was like, I'm in this cow dung. They build these huts out of cow dung.
Right, yeah.
Cow dung and I think wood maybe, but mainly cow dung. And it was peaceful. Kelly was in one room. I was in another room on this little cot. And I remember Naima, right before you guys left, she was like, good luck. She gave me a hug. You have pictures of that, remember?
I do.
Yeah. But yeah, so you guys left, woke up in the morning.
Naima said good luck.
Yeah, Naima is she runs the safe house.
She was like, y'all are crazy.
Yeah.
She lives there.
She lives there in Tanzania, not at the Maasai village, but in Tanzania, in one of the cities there, towns. And even she was like, good luck. And she's so cool. But
I don't know if I'd actually even do it different. But
yeah, so then in the morning, I do remember waking up and they gave us like this tea kind of stuff. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but Kelly was like kind of signaling like, don't drink it.
Yeah.
Because our systems aren't built to drink that. It's just, different ecosystem in here.
Totally.
So she was like, don't drink it. And then they offered us goat and stuff, which we can tie into your story. But it was really cool. Then I guess they sacrificed the goat for us as like a way of saying thank you.
Yeah.
And we learned that a goat over there is worth so much to them. So it's a real honor to be like.
Did you eat the goat?
No, we didn't get to go. No, I wanted to, but I'm like, I can't risk it,
Smart.
So I just remember kind of being there in the morning. I woke up right before sunrise. Oh, so beautiful.
Yeah.
Watching people herding the cattle. It looked like the 405 freeway backed up of just cattle coming in from like nowhere. Just the horizon, the sun's coming up. It was super beautiful. Kids playing with the dogs. They're all looking at me. And I flew my drone the night before during sunset. All the kids loved it. They chased it. It's a cool video.
That's incredible. Yeah.
But I do remember in the morning just like turning around and seeing the bus coming back. And it was really weird. It was like this sense of like, I'm safe. Even though I felt so safe, but it was this weird like little extra. I remember seeing you guys like, oh, I was so excited to see you guys too.
Yeah.
I remember hugging all you. It was so weird that I had so much gratitude just seeing you. It was only like 12 hours. You guys were only gone for like 12, 13.
But we're gone.
You're gone.
Like there's no.
And I've only known you guys for like 10 days.
Well,
and I was.
Bye, Cody. Have a nice life in the Messiah.
Yeah, and to see you guys again, I was so thankful.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, my friends.
Yeah.
They're all back. But I guess you guys had a different experience when you left.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we left, and they gave us goat for the bus. So we got, and they gave us like cut up goat in 2 buckets. And
like a 5-gallon Home Depot bucket?
Right, yeah. Just goat cut up into those. And then goat on plates for us to eat. Most of us didn't eat the goat, but some people ate the goat. And
dang,
one of the women who ate the goat got so sick.
Yeah.
And so she ended up getting really sick. The bus had to stop. She got out. She like passed out.
Yeah.
Like everyone was so worried.
Right.
So much anxiety.
It's getting dark in the desert.
It's
you're in the middle of the
super dark
desert.
where you're in the middle of the desert.
You're still like 2 hours from the main road.
Like it became dangerous, Again, for anyone coming, if anyone's listening to this, we're not doing any of that.
Yeah, no.
We're not going to the Messiah. We're staying at the safe house. We're putting on a camp, which we should talk about later.
Yeah.
I don't know how much time we have.
Don't worry about time. It's up to you. Well,
anyway, but that got dangerous for sure.
Yeah.
And so it kind of changed our plans. We had to find a hotel. The hotel we found, you're finding it's like finding a hotel where you live in LA that has last minute rooms at midnight.
Right.
You're not gonna get the nicest hotel in LA. We'll do that in Africa.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And so that it was, the whole experience was very scary.
Yeah.
You're worried about her. You're worried about the bus, safety, everybody. You're in a foreign country.
But
so that was
the adventure.
It was an adventure, but it wasn't like the existential adventure you were having. You're like, oh,
look at the
stars. Listen to the chirping mice. Oh, it's a chorus of mice.
Yes, that's exactly
That's not what we were experiencing at all.
Jeez, man.
That
moment though
scary.
For me was top 5 best moments of my life. Period.
Wow.
It really was that profound.
Yeah.
Maybe I put it up on a pedestal, but it was pretty beautiful just to be somewhere. As someone that loves adventures, to be somewhere that I don't want to say I don't belong, but I don't belong.
Sure.
I just don't belong there. So it's almost equivalent of going to Mars or something. I don't belong there. But
totally.
But when you guys came back, that morning was really beautiful there too. The prayer over that guy and just endless flooding of positive experiences the whole trip. So if you are watching this and you're going on the trip, just be ready for so much good that's gonna hit you. It's not a scary thing. So I feel like we maybe
we've only talked about scary things. It's going to be really beautiful. No. And we didn't have a single one of those things at the safe house.
Oh, the safe house was a sanctuary.
I've
never been in a sanctuary where I felt safe. It's so wild.
Total sanctuary. It's so beautiful, so safe. Man. And all of that stuff was when we went and did some extracurriculars.
When we left, we're already done with the safe house.
Finishing up we had trip. A lot of, this trip is different because our main focus there is putting on a camp. Mm-hmm. And
elaborate.
Yeah, and so Kelly just kind of did this for the first time to go and put on a camp for the neighborhood in the area of the safe house. Mm-hmm. And over 150 people came to this camp. And I mean, she could probably talk to you more about the activities, but I know she spoke to the kids. They talked to the kids, they talked to the adults, and they talked about abuse, And I think there's other activities, fun things that the kids did. Of course, it's not all super serious, but there were sessions that were hard. And they talked to the parents, they talked to the kids. And so that was their first run in like putting on a camp, and it went really well.
Would you say that was GWP's first time reaching out of the safe house and dipping into the community, truly dipping into the community?
I don't know. I don't think so.
The local community, I should say.
Well, because I mean, we went to the school when we were there.
Right.
Talked to. I mean, how many?
The orphanage.
Went to the orphanage. Yeah,
you're right. No,
Yeah,
you're right.
So I don't think so, but
maybe inviting the community. Into
yeah,
the home.
yeah. I'm not sure, but I do. It was definitely. All I know is it was impactful.
Yeah.
And to the point where Kelly shared this stat with me. You should just have Kelly on because I'm just telling you things Kelly will.
I will.
Tell
Yes.
me,
yes.
Stupid. Why am I here?
It should have been her first. Nah.
Wow, that hurts.
That's not a bad thing. No. Just
what, that you wish I was Kelly?
No, that I wanted to have you on here first. Yeah.
Oh.
Because I have plans to have her on soon before that trip.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
There's a stat you had from Kelly.
Oh yeah, she said that. So that I had asked. Well, anyway, 3 to 7. They said there's 3 to 7 reports. Let me pull it up because it's on my phone. I want to get it right. I think it's either weekly or monthly. I think it's weekly.
Pull it up. Yeah.
3 to 7 reports of abuse. 3 to 7 reported claims of abuse per week was the average around that area. Now, just because something's not being reported or being not being reported doesn't mean it's not happening. Right. So there's probably more than
way
that,
more,
right? But 3 to 7 are being reported that there's something's happening, right? That's not good for people,
right?
And since they've put on the camp, that number's gone down to 0.
No way.
0 reported claims in the last 2 months. From 3 to 7 per week, it's gone to 0 for
huge.
2 months. It's amazing. And that doesn't mean, again, it doesn't mean it's not happening. Doesn't mean problems like fully solved, right? But that's a step.
That's
to say, to at least it's happening less.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, or I mean, whatever. You could hypothesize that it's happening the same and nobody's reporting it, but I don't think so. It seems.
You said it was 150 people
at the camp. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's gonna have ripple effects in the community,
right?
For sure.
So we're doing that. That's our main focus. Going again is we're focusing in on this camp in this area, and the girls. The girls we have in the safe house and in that community. So, not going to the orphanage or not Tanzania.
The women's.
Yeah, we might do one. I forget excursion. I'm looking at the schedule. I forgot. I think we might do. I told them because they're letting me because we're taking people from my church, so I get to be not in charge at all, but I get to help decide what we want to do.
Yeah.
So I said, we could do max of a 1, whether we go to an orphanage or we do something. But I don't want to do more than 1 because I think I want to be consistent in what our mission is there.
Right.
And that's this camp. Yeah. So that's what we'll be doing for, a good portion of the trip. And I think that's going to be awesome. So all that's to say, we're not going to the Maasai.
No, yeah, no.
We're not going on some kind of scary excursions.
Sure. So what's one of the big things you're looking forward to then for this trip in June?
Dude, I just can't wait to get there and give you a noogie. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm excited. I'm excited to see the girls again.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So many of the same girls are there. I don't know if you saw that video of when Kelly was there and,
she sent me one.
Yeah, they were just saying our names. I love you, Cody. I love you, Harry. I was like, stop it.
Do you remember the letter that they wrote for us? The little thank yous.
Oh yeah. So it's just seeing them again because it's real relationships.
Right.
So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to bring. It's just a different dynamic, going like we talked about going in with you as a friend, and then I'm bringing a lot of people I know.
Right.
You know what
Personally.
I mean? Personally.
Yeah.
So it's just a total shift.
That's gonna be cool for you.
Yeah, it's
so
gonna
many
be
people
very different.
It's like bringing your family with you.
I think it'll be really powerful. And then I'm also in all transparency going through the same things I went through of gosh, do I want to do that again?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do I want to do that big flight? Now my baby's born. I want to be home with him. So I understand it's one of those things where it's sometimes the desire to go wanes, but I know it's a calling for me to go.
Yeah.
It's the only reason I'm going. I'm pretty comfortable doing ministry in La Jolla,
Right. Yeah.
It's pretty sweet. I don't mind doing that and comes with a lot of challenges and but I love doing ministry right where I'm at. But I know it's a calling to go back, and so that's what we're doing. But it so I'm ebb and flows on excitement and like crap, do I want to do that?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited. What are you? Do you have something you're looking forward to?
I mean, obviously, just capturing the moment. That's so cheesy and generic to say, but just I think the first time around doing it, it's like doing my first wedding and then doing the second wedding. Doing my first time portrait. Just doing something the second time around.
Yep.
It's, I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm excited for it. And I do remember Sherry mentioning you can't compare trips. They're uncomparable.
Smart.
No matter, even if it's the same group.
Right. Smart.
It's just uncomparable.
Smart.
And so I'm not going to go into it saying like, oh, this trip's going to be better than the last one. It's going to keep getting better. It could be worse for myself, you know, but I can't see how it would be. But I just kind of, the other big part is I remember the Safe House girls. I really wanted to photograph the, the emotion and sort of raw realness as much as I could. But granted, I'm an older guy with a camera and they don't know me. So I feel like they didn't warm up until maybe the last 2-3 days. And that's where I got some of the really good shots that I got of them where they kind of opened up. So I'm excited to go back and they'll
know you.
And it's like, we can go not right into it, but we can really, I can just
be quicker,
be on a different level. Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
I'm learning a little bit of Swahili. I've been off the wagon on that, but I'm dabbling. I at least want to have just the basics, so that I can at least communicate. Cause that was one of the big bummers is the language barrier.
Yeah. I'm trying to do some of that with the group when we meet, just like small amounts of Swahili.
Yeah. I found a translator online, a kind of expensive one that I can have in my ear or one on my hip that's connected that will live feed. It's
you're just
I'm the tech guy.
Techy.
You kept coming to me on the trip. Hey, what you got over here? Like you needed Wi-Fi. I got to call. I had all the gadgets. I love the gadgets.
So many gadgets. You're go gadget.
I am go gadget. Coco gadget. Yeah. But I'm just looking forward to, just I guess being more intentional because. I'm sure we can share briefly that during the trip, I feel like I went into the trip with a lot of walls up without even realizing it. And even thinking during that time, like, I don't have walls anymore, but I still had some walls and I didn't realize it. And it was like a few days into the trip, we had highs and low meetings at night. And I remember throughout the first few days, I would share a little bit with each person about who I am, who I come from, just getting to know people. And I feel like I shared a piece of a puzzle to each person. That's the best way to explain it. What's crazy is that I feel like I didn't share a piece of the puzzle with you, but you already knew what piece belonged where it needed to go because there was a night where we did worship. Kiana was leading worship. And for those who, I don't know me or don't know me, my what's the word? Commitment to faith has always been, like you said, ebb and flow. It's kind of just comes and goes. And I just realized the other day it's been like a little over a year and a few weeks since my baptism. And I'll touch on that in a second. But I just feel like, anyway, on that trip when she was doing the worship and she was singing and just I've always felt closest to God through worship music. There isn't a Bible verse. There isn't a church service. There isn't a group of people. I mean, the closest group of people is, you guys on the trip, but I have never found a closer connection to God than worship music. Always just, and I'm a musician. Maybe that's just the way it is, but it's always been through music that I feel closest to God. Other than that, I feel far from faith. And, so Kiana was singing and she just sang the right words. And I remember someone saying, let's pray over someone in the group because they're hurting. They had like a physical pain. They go Sue or someone. So she sat down in the center of the room and it was just the DJP group and they're praying over. And then I remember Isaac or you, but
it was good. It was me.
It was you to push me into the circle.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't remember. Okay,
yeah,
it might have been.
I think it was Isaac, but someone was like, "Is there anyone else that wants to just get prayer?"
Yeah,
and that's foreign to me. It was foreign to me at that time too to have a group of people like truly pray over you.
Yeah,
that was probably the first time I ever had a group like physically pray over me. I've been in a men's group where we pray for each other. And it's solid. It's great, but something about that was just different. It was just different, and I sat down, and be honest, it felt silly to me sitting down.
Sure.
Because it's just like this wall that okay.
Right.
It's not gonna do anything, whatever. Yeah. And you all started praying, and Kristen said something, Sherry said, but you all started sharing like little bits of the story that I've been telling of just like my life and the stuff I've been through. And it was almost like I had just like these weights all over me, and one by one you just took one off. But the one that really hit home was yours, and that one felt right here, because when you spoke, it here felt the pressure was gone. Wow. And it was just this battle I've had with confidence of being an artist. Yeah. And I remember your prayer, not word for word, but it was something along the lines of like, God, let Cody see that he is an artist. Right. That he's an artist, that you've created him. Yeah. For like, that's one of his purposes, artist, musician, and voice and photography and stuff. Totally. And I've always wrestled with confidence over the last 10 years of that business. Like I hate half the work I've shot, to be complete. I'm always super judgmental, and I know exactly where that comes from, but sure, perfectionist, like, look at this picture, and so would be like, that looks wrong. And it's like, so I was always hammered into like, there's always something wrong about something. And I lead that in a lot of things I do. There's always something wrong about something. And it's like, no, that's not the case. Yeah. It's just negative thought process. And that's more inward than it is outward, unfortunately. But anywho, when you said that part, that's when I just broke down. And it felt so good to hear that from someone that I didn't explain that to. Yeah. And it goes to show that, like, I guess I'm showing it. Like you said, like, showing my heart on my sleeve or whatever. But I don't know. It's just that prayer night just broke me down. I remember walking outside and I was a mess. Yeah. I never felt touched by God like that. Yeah. It's so, man. Powerful. I wish I can, like, just bottle that whole experience up and keep it by my bed. And when I need it, I can just feel right back to it. Yeah. That's why I have these pictures. Yeah. Or at least that one, and especially that one. Just the group. Right. Well, and I'll say two things if you don't mind. Yeah. One, I'd say you are, all those things are true, and I think God knew what you needed to hear, and you are truly the most artistic person I've ever met, and I mean that in the most positive sense. And so wickedly talented at everything you put together, and everything you put together is just such a ridiculous high quality. And so, but yeah, I mean, you can sing, you can take these incredible photos, you can put all this together. I mean, and it's really is, I think, who you are. And I didn't know you that well, but it's like, I really do believe it's like God's an artist. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He's the best artist, and he made you in that image. For sure. And you're walking that. And then just not to get preachy, but speaking to that moment, because it's like, gosh, those mountaintop moments, you just wish you could keep them. Right. But we never can, and it's like, because life doesn't happen on the mountaintop. Life happens in the valley. Right. Life happens in the middle of the mountain. And then you get those sweet mountaintop moments. But it just, so brief. Yeah. And it's like, they're so good and inspiring. But you always have to go back down for the sake of others. Usually it's like, I think of for the sake of others. I think of the transfiguration, Jesus literally on a mountaintop, transfigured, right? So his like inner glory shines outwardly in this story. I think it's like Matthew 17 or something. And he has three homies with him, Peter, James, and John. And Peter's like, he's floored. His heroes show up, Moses and Elijah. So he's got Moses, Elijah, Jesus. He's meeting his heroes. When you meet your heroes, you never say anything smart. It's like, every time I meet a hero, I'm like, they're like, hi, I'm Peyton Manning. And I'm like, Harry is the name I was given at birth. Like you're just so uncomfortable, and I always walk away like I blew it. Yeah. And Peter blows it, right? He's right away. He's like, this is good that we're here. Yeah. Why don't we stay here? I'll build houses, he says. Like we'll build houses and we just live up here and stay here. And God ends up interrupting him and affirming Jesus and whatever. But the point is, Peter wants to keep the mountaintop moment. He wants to keep it so bad. He's like, let's just build houses here. He's not even with the rest of the disciples. It's just Peter, James, John, and Jesus, and Moses and Elijah. But Jesus doesn't even acknowledge that that's a possibility. He goes, not only does he go down the mountain,
he goes down the mountain towards a cross. And he knows that's where he's going, right? But he does it for the sake of others. You know what I mean? So it's like,
you're saying, huh?
the mountaintop experiences are so rad, and like, gosh, we wish we could keep them, but we have to go through the valley towards and in suffering for the sake of others, and also the development of ourselves. And that's definitely what happened in that story, and that's the end of my sermon. Thank you. Amen.
That was great.
Yeah, whatever. But I just think of that because I experience that with kids a lot, you know, because we take kids up the mountain all the time for for my job.
Yeah.
You know, we go and do experiences.
Right.
And the kids have these profound experiences. Right. And then they wish they could keep them, you know, and they go home and they're like back to their, back to life, you know, and it's like, how come God only exists on the mountaintop? And it's like, that's not the case, you know, it's just like, it's easy to have faith when you worship twice a day, when you're in a foreign country, when you're relying on God.
Right.
But then when you get back to your daily grind and you are busy with a whole bunch of stuff, leading a noisy life, it's pretty easy to forget about all of that.
Right.
And then all of a sudden feel so far from God.
That's exactly what happened to me.
Yeah.
The last time I went to Canopy Church was in May.
Yeah, we gotta change that.
I know. I went to a couple other churches with some friends over the last 6 months, but nothing consistent. Granted, Canopy's a 50-minute drive. No excuse, but
but you could go. I mean, and you can go somewhere else. You don't have to go to Canopy.
Yeah, but I felt far from faith, and I feel like it's just kind of like you said. You come back down in the valley, life comes back, and I make excuses of why I can't go. But there's only one thing that stayed consistent.
Yeah,
and it's grabbing that guitar and practicing worship music, just singing along right here. That's it.
But that's one more thing than you had, right? Because that's what.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
I wouldn't really sit down consistently and
worship
the music that way.
And sometimes that is like how there's like building one habit. Sometimes one habit at a time. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't have to all of a sudden become a monk.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just like build habits. You know, and you built a habit of worship in your life, and now the plans for you to get to lead worship on the trip, which is really cool.
I gotta figure out what guitar I'm gonna take.
Yeah. Don't let it suck. Okay?
Yeah, no,
I'm
definitely not.
I'm just kidding. Negative voices.
Yes, I love those are my best friends.
You'll be amazing, dude. You'll be amazing, and it'll be so beautiful. But, just small habits, you know what I mean? And going to church is rad, not because God exists at church. It's just like it's hard to do this thing alone.
It's community.
Yeah, it's community.
And if that's not the lesson I learned coming back from the last trip, then I don't know what was. It was community. Totally. And Josh hit it on the nail I remember he talked about that on the trip. I think it was the last night when we had a little debrief, and he was just like, community is like one of the most important things you'll get out of a trip like that.
For sure.
And it was. And that's why you're sitting here. And that's why I feel like in small ways, whether you know it or not, over the last year of just getting to know you, you've said things and done things that make me look in the mirror and go, we need to change this about myself because I like the way Harry does that. So you've definitely inspired me in certain ways in that aspect. And
I wish more people would just be like me most of the time.
Okay, well, not everybody can shop at Buck Mason.
Okay, well, let's not go there. Sponsor me. No, and that's kind of you. And you don't need, I'm glad that's all kind, but you're awesome. You know what I mean? You don't need to do anything more like Harry. You need to continue to lean into who you are because you're rad.
Right. Yeah. But I definitely get good bits of inspiration from you. And it helps that we both like the paper kites.
Yeah,
which we're going to see next.
Yes, dude, we're seeing next week.
Yes, super stoked about that.
No, that was rad to right away bond on music.
Right.
Yeah, that's because we're both Enneagram 4s.
Enneagram 4.
Yeah.
For those watching, if you haven't done an Enneagram test, pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. Did you take the actual test?
The full one?
Yeah.
The length
or
one?
like, did you take a test, or did you just kind of spot yourself?
200 question one.
And it came out 4.
Yeah, it came out 4.
Yeah. I see. I knew it.
Yeah.
See,
it was 4, and that one really hit home.
See, and freaking Josh was wrong.
Josh said a 9.
Yeah, he was saying something that wasn't 4, and I was like, "Nah, dude, I know a 4 when I see one because I'm a 4."
Yeah, you hit it. Yeah, we're both 4s. Yeah.
Yeah, take that, sucker.
Yeah. 9 was my second number, though. Sorry.
No, whatever.
It was 4 and 9.
Well, I'm right.
That's why to this day I don't listen to any other songs but 4 and 9 on that album. It's 4 then 9.
Dude, that 4 song hits.
It does, and I remember listening to that during sunset, going into
what's the band? We didn't say the band.
Sleeping at Last.
Sleeping at Last.
Almost lost it. Sleeping at Last. It's called Enneagram. But take the test first before you listen to the album.
Yeah.
There's like a 50 question one. There's small
Sure.
ones, but
No, it's just cool to learn about your
Yeah.
motivations, and you just get to know.
got to be honest with the answers. No one's going to see them but you. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But looking forward to Paper Kites. When you mentioned you liked the Paper Kite, and you told me that you danced to it on your
Yeah.
as your first dance at your
Yeah.
wedding, I was like, goals. That's exactly what I would do.
Yeah,
That's oh man, Paper Kites. So we bought tickets that just happened to be right next to each other because we did some poor planning.
That was crazy.
Did poor planning on that, but it worked out. Yeah.
That's a miracle.
There's a lot of seats, but still pretty darn close to be that.
No, but we're right next to each
We're
other.
right next to each other. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so for the listener,
Yeah.
I thought Cody booked his tickets for the Paper Kites.
Because I kept bugging you. I feel like I kept bugging you. I was
Yeah,
like,
you
hey,
kept
did you get
bugging me
them?
about it, and I hadn't bought them.
Yes.
And so finally, I was like, "Crap! I need to buy these tickets." And I thought Cody bought tickets, and then I didn't realize he didn't. And so I went and bought my tickets, and then I texted him. I was like,
I was
okay.
texting and driving, which I should have done. I should have just called you and be like,
This
hey.
okay, Cody's Confessions. That's the name
Yeah.
of the podcast.
Yeah.
You're confessing right now to your crimes.
I've done that a few times, more than a few times. I'm
Okay.
not good about it.
Cody's
but,
Confessions. Put a banner on the
yeah, right behind me.
yeah.
But yeah, we ended up getting seats that were just right next
Yeah.
to each other. On the
Without
left side.
talking at all, because
Right.
I was just like, "Hey, I got him," and then
Right.
you were like, "I think
I immediately right after I was like,
oh crap, I gotta get him."
yeah,
Yeah,
So
and there were seats. I mean, there's hundreds of seats left throughout
Right.
the whole,
there was,
the entire whatever stadium.
could have just got standing in the back,
right.
which I thought we were gonna do, but I was like, oh, there's seating arrangements. I'll just do the left side. I think it was row C or something, and I was like, oh,
You
C
got
for-
the you ended up getting the left side.
Yeah.
and then you got like
34,
section
35.
F.
Yeah.
And then you got like row C.
Yeah.
And you got like the
Yeah.
seat right next. Like the
Yeah.
odds
Yes.
of you getting seats right next to
Yes.
us. That was wild.
But are our ladies gonna sit in between us?
Yeah, I'm not sitting next to you.
Oh, okay. Oh,
You know what happens.
okay, that's true. Yeah.
Start bickering.
Yes.
You make me cry.
I'm so excited for
No,
that
I'm
show.
gonna sit next to you. Yeah, it's
San
gonna-
Diego. Do you know where? I don't remember where.
No,
pull it
I
up.
don't remember.
But somewhere in San Diego.
Yeah, I don't
Your
know.
hood.
My hood.
Very excited about that.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, I don't know what the. We'll sit next. I'll have Kalina here. You'll be here.
Yeah.
And then Vanessa there. We'll keep
There we
the
go.
ladies on the perimeter.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
So
Got it all
excited.
planned out.
Perfect. Well, I gotta say this is actually the longest podcast I've recorded.
How long has it been? This flew.
It's almost an hour and a half. We're 7 minutes
No
away.
way.
Yeah, we're at 84 minutes right now.
That was an hour and a half?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't hit record?
Shut up. I know you're joking. You're too perfectionistic to not hit record and check all the cameras 4 times.
It has to happen one time.
That you don't hit record.
Long time ago on a job I shot, it just wasn't recording. It has to happen once, and you're like, well, that's never gonna happen
Yeah,
again.
yeah,
And it
yeah.
already did, Same with a
Totally.
battery, or like you only make those crazy mistakes one time.
Well, next time we can talk about job fails, because I've had a couple that are like so embarrassing.
Yeah.
But we're an hour and a half in,
Yeah.
so I guess we'll stop. But that's crazy. This flew by.
That's good. That's a good sign.
This is a good sign.
Anything else you want to tell the people? Is there anywhere they can find you for anything? Maybe
No.
if someone's out in La Jolla wants to do the daddy jiu-jitsu, who's your daddy?
Don't find me.
Don't find you.
I want to stay off the grid.
Well,
No,
we can
yeah. If
guide
you, I mean,
people
if
to
you,
GWP.
yeah, no, sure,
Yeah.
yeah, and I have no following. But if you're interested in, if you're in San Diego area and you're a dad and you want to know Jesus or jiu-jitsu, then we can talk about that. And then, Graceful Warrior Project.
Yes.
But
I would love to have Kelly sometime soon, or even just like I mentioned before, Kristen, you, me, and Kelly. Maybe before the trip.
Oh, do a
sometime.
pod.
But that'd be so hard because Kristen's in
A quad
Arizona.
pod.
Quad pod, yeah.
I got names
Yeah,
for
but-
you, bro.
But that's only when there's 4 people.
Well, it's a quad pod episode.
Yes, we'll call
Dang
it
it.
that.
All right, you got to pick a name. I want a name.
Bummer.
I'm not coming on another podcast until there's a name for
Fair
this
enough.
thing.
That's a good. I like that. That's good pressure.
Refuse.
I love that there's no name, and that's something I always remember when it becomes something. I'm like, there's, didn't even have a name, but I didn't let that get in the way of starting it.
That's true.
And that's something that I kind of hold high esteem, but I can't keep holding on to that because I just don't have a name.
I will decline to be on it.
Good. Fair. For now, it is the Cody Squires podcast, but Squires Productions at some point was Cody Squires Photography.
Squirrely with Squires. See you next time.
Squared up with Squires and just hit my elbow really hard.
Ow, I'm sorry.
It's a funny bone, not so funny.
Yeah.
I'm stubborn. I kind of want to. It's 86:30. I want to make it to the 90 and cut it right on the 90 minute.
I don't care. What? How many minutes does that mean we have to talk? Till I can.
3.5 minutes.
It's not hard.
It's not hard.
I don't think it's hard. Do you want to keep going?
Yeah, it's gonna be awkward, but we can
It
go.
doesn't have to be awkward.
You're right. We can go to the line.
Well, I'll tell one more. Unless you have something to say.
No, the floor is yours.
I'll just tell, since you mentioned saying job fails. Like,
thank you.
so was that a what? And first, let me ask: was it a wedding?
It was a wedding.
Oh my god!
It wasn't recorded. Yeah.
So you were the videographer.
Year one, yeah.
And you did not video their wedding.
Photo and video. So I got photos
Sure.
and video, but I didn't get the video of the ceremony only, just like the ceremony.
Were they pissed?
They were actually extremely understanding. It was very. You got to remember, they paid me $500.
Got it.
$500 for a 14-hour day.
Right.
And I just missed that one thing, and I was 20 years old. I'm a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
I'm starting out.
It's on them for hiring a 20-year-old.
Yeah, that was
Stupid people.
But there's definitely situations like that. I've also had assistants who they weren't recording, and I would like walk by and like, we're not recording, But I have 3 cameras usually rolling, so there's always another camera. But still, it's like I've caught people in the past on my team that it like wasn't hitting record.
Yeah.
Not to like not give you any confidence for booking me.
You're fired.
We're
fire
great.
them on the spot.
Yeah. Nah, I didn't. I was never like that. But
I'm just kidding.
there's a few I should have and I didn't. But you got 2 minutes to tell your.
Oh, I got list of fails, so I'll tell one quickly. We did this is the one I think is funny. It's funny now. We did a seminar on at the church on the topic of sex and dating when it comes from a Christian perspective. Mm-hmm. And so we had a lot of like high school students, college students there. And I was kind of hosting, like emceeing it, had speakers come in. I organized the whole thing, did a bunch of work. And then I had a text line so you could text and answer your questions. And
that's cool.
Yeah, there'd be like a panel to answer the questions at the end. And I get to the end of the thing and I'm checking my like burner phone, which is the text line, and there's no questions that's come through. And I'm like, dang it, dude. Like, I guess everyone knows everything about sex and dating from a Christian perspective. Yeah. So I was like, all right, guys.
Oh, no, I think I know where this is going.
It's like, all right, guys, I guess you don't. And they're like, no, we've been sending questions.
Oh, my gosh.
And turns out the number that it gave out, like one of the numbers was off. It was like a 2, but it should have been a 3. And so you probably had, 40 people, texting a random number, all their questions about sex and dating from a Christian perspective. And that person started texting back.
The answers.
Yeah, well, he just started texting back weird stuff. You know what I mean? So whoever we were texting started sending some weird stuff back.
Funny.
And I was so embarrassed.
Sure, yeah. To just be off by one number.
Oh, my gosh. And to text a bunch of people texted someone their sex questions.
Yeah, imagine I just got all those right now. I'm like, someone's having an interesting night.
Your phone just blowing up with like all these very specific questions.
Sure, yeah. Kind of personal too, maybe on some of them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Brutal. So embarrassing. Now hilarious.
Yeah.
But so I got plenty of those.
That is a pretty good one.
Signing off.
Cody's
Confessions.
Cody's Confessions. Well, thanks for watching. I got more guests lined up, more episodes to come, and we'll have this goofball back on the podcast again sometime very soon. Thanks for watching.
If it has a name.
If it has a name. That's true. It has to have a name. Oh, we've been over 90-15. Now we're going to do another 30 minutes.
Get me off of this. He's holding me hostage. Please help.
Yay. All right. Good night. Good morning. Goodbye.